Hi, I'm Jade Madison Scott, the creator of the BookMarks, and this is a fun little note from me to you so you know what the heck is going on. The show you're about to listen to, The BookMarks, is an improv comedy. Short outlines were written so the actors would have a plot skeleton to work with, but the words, the character choices, that's all them just making it up as they go. And because this is a book podcast that parodies book podcasts, I want to make it clear that the authors and books the characters talk about are absolute fiction, totally made up by the actors on the spot, so there's no need to Google is blah blah a real book, because it's not. The actors are just so good to make you think it is. All right, that's all I wanted to say, so let's get to why you're really here. Please enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The BookMarks. I am your host, Marquelle Bookerson.
And I'm Marquelle Bookerson, no relation.
You may notice that the sound quality is maybe a little bit different, and that's because we're recording in a completely different place than we usually do. We are actually at Marquelle and Jess's apartment because, unfortunately, Marquelle is down with a case of the fuzzy wumps.
No, it's not good. That bad. God, you could die from the fuzzy wumps. This is just a cold. I'm fine.
The constant snot that you have been blowing up into these tissues, I think, begs to differ. But that's besides the point. Because what we're here to do is review books, not talk about the common cold. I'll be taking care of the podcast and making Marquelle a little bit of soup.
No, we're co-hosts. I can do this. Today we are reviewing the autobiography, the incredible Isabelle Ichoramus.
All right, I'm gonna get that soup for you. I'm gonna go check on that because you are not.
No, not soup, Mark. No, we don't talk about soup.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about soup, but you do need to eat some soup. All right, and hey, look, I got some Theraflu for you right there.
Theraflu?
So go ahead, take a sip of that. All right.
Okay.
Stop talking. Gotta rest your voice, rest your vocal cords.
Tell me to stop talking.
We are super excited to read this book. It is honestly one of the best autobiographies out there on the market currently, and Isabelle Ichoramus is just such a prolific figure in our world. And
Mark,
3, 2, 1, and damn. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the autobiography of Isabelle Ichoramus entitled The Incredible Isabelle Ichoramus. I'm a huge fan of autobiographies myself. I think anyone has one.
Talk your eminence.
Okay. Oprah, Maya Angelou a couple times, Barack Obama.
This train isn't gonna steer itself.
Okay. She is having some wonderful dreams right now. I wonder what else she's gonna...
Pleasure to meet you, President Musk.
Wow, she is in a world all her own right now. This is one phenomenal book. I mean, I can only hope to live half the life that Miss Ichoramus has. She's just amazing. I could never do the skydiving that she does. She's quite the nature and skydiving enthusiast, but I'm just gonna have to, one day work up the strength to be able to skydive like she does. She just absolutely loves that stuff. Wait a minute. Is something burning? Oh my god, the soup. How did I let this happen again? I cannot live through this a second time. We will be right back after these brief messages. Go to commercial.
Once the thing of fantasy, now you too can walk among the red dust of Mars. Mars, the home of New Cape Town. Climb the incredible Olympus Mines. Trek through the inimitable Valles Marineris. Stay in one of the numerous luxurious hotels in the Martian capital, New Pretoria.
Oh yeah, you can. I'll take care of this. Forget everything that you've heard. Mars is a perfect wonderland. everyone is happy. Nothing hurts. Fly up and over. We promise once you get here, you'll never leave. Never want to leave. You'll never want to leave. You can leave anytime you want. I promise.
Mark, what are we reading?
I pay for the ad spot, all right?
Okay.
Get ready to visit the Red Planet, meet President Elon Musk, and have the time of your life on Mars. All right, everyone. This week on the podcast, we are discussing the autobiography, The Incredible Isabelle Ichoramus. Markelle's asleep, but I have to note she was a huge fan of the alliteration in the title. It just really got her goat going. Another alliterative statement. I'm just feeling it today. Isabelle Ichoramus, a true Renaissance woman. I mean, when I think of people who inspire me, this is someone who's just at the forefront of my list. She wrote several autobiographies throughout her career. I think some of her most famous ones from sales were The Life and Times with the Winter Wizard, Life on the Commune, Sunflower Livin'. There were just some real classics amongst those, but I honestly think that she has outdone herself with this most recent one. And honestly, reading a lot of her earlier writings actually didn't, inspire me to want to become a writer myself. I actually hope to one day write my own autobiography in the same vein. And to sort of kind of get into what this book talks about, it talks about her life growing up in Ohio, with very wealthy sunflower farming parents. They really had the market cornered on sunflowers, just on a world level. If her accounts are to be believed, actually, because, they had developed a new sunflower technique that involved very particular flowering times, which really made their sunflowers much more valuable than everyone else's. And so she grew up sort of a trust fund child, very, very wealthy, capable of doing many things just by nature of having the money to do so. But around the age of 21 years old, she abandoned her life as, a super rich, wealthy socialite in Ohio to kind of live a more bohemian lifestyle on a commune for 20 years, where she took her parents' sunflower recipe and perfected it. I mean, I don't know if you have had Ichoramus's sunflower seeds, but I mean, there's no competing. They are, by and large, the best sunflower seeds on the market. And she actually recently released a cookbook sort of as a companion piece to her autobiography, Cooking with Ichoramus, where she actually has a recipe in there for just the most delectable tofu quiche that she herself developed. It actually uses those sunflower seeds. I mean, I had Jean-Pierre make one for me just so I could kind of know what exactly we were dealing with here. And when I tell you that quiche is the real deal, whew, that is delicious. She actually goes further into the book to kind of detail some of the time she spent living in the commune, hiking around the mountains with her husband, Leander, and her several children, just completely barefoot, living off of berries, water, sunflower seeds, and tofu. And I actually really love the section of the book where, her commitment to this lifestyle actually gets her noticed by the Winter Wizard of Flinderhausen. That was the name of the place where the commune was actually located. And the Winter Wizard, takes a shine to her and sort of just really introduces her to this whole new lifestyle of being an arcane spellcaster, of practicing, cryomancy, of combating chronomancy, because as we all know, chronomancy is the natural enemy to cryomancy, it's been very big in world politics recently, so it was actually very insightful to kind of see, firsthand accounts of someone who was on the ground level sort of dealing with who is probably one of the most prominent cryomancers of our generation, and Ichoramus has just done so much for this world. I mean, starting a charity for endangered honeybees, Be More Present, leading a protest against honey companies with inhumane regulations. That's actually what the Bee Movie was based on. She even has a bee tattoo on her arm. I mean, this lady has done everything, and honestly, on a more personal note, I think the reason that she's so inspiring to me is because she grew up in this very wealthy but stifling environment in a manner very similar to my own upbringing. I really related to that, but she left that to go live in a commune, spending some time just in a cave with bears, living as the bears do, grabbing fish from the streams, communing with the bees to actually communicate for honey, working out a treaty between the bears and the bees to create, a more equitable trade of honey between the two of them. I mean, the bear population is flourishing right now, as are the bees, because, this thousands of year-long war between the two of them was single-handedly put to rest by her. And I mean, she has skydived. She loves skydiving. It's sort of a hobby of her. She has skydived in Rome, East Paris, Lisbon, Accra, Old London, New Cape Town, New Cape Town, the entirety of Russia. I mean, she started from one end, jumped out the plane, and just headed diagonally across the entirety of the country. I mean, all while wearing a 10-pound Russian hat. It's remarkable what this woman has done. And then, returned back to the commune to live with her children and the winter wizard. Just truly an inspiration. I mean, she's... Oh, I think Markelle's waking up. Marquelle, how are we doing, buddy? How are we feeling?
Oh, where's the soup?
Oh, so, funny story about the soup. Kind of burned it. Didn't know you could burn soup like that, but you totally can. Completely black. So, I ordered some clam chowder, and that's going to be here super soon, and you're going to be able to eat that up. It's going to have the little crackers, and I got you some of the little ginger ale, Corinthia always got that for me when I was sick, and so I just think you're gonna be feeling great. So why don't you just lay back on down, bud?
No, I feel fine. I can do this. I can get up. I liked the book too. I don't know what you were talking about, but I liked the scene when she was hiking along the Pacific Northwest Trail, and that's the one that you have to do a planar shift in order to access it. The whole scene where she could get it through the tub.
Okay, Marquelle, you sound awful.
I
right
don't
now.
sound
I'm sorry.
awful. No.
You need to take better care of yourself.
I do take
right?
care of myself.
Have you taken your nasal spray yet?
No, I don't like things up my nose in the liquid form.
Yeah, well, no one
Air
likes
only.
taking nasal spray. You need to take it, though.
No, I don't want to take it.
Marquelle?
Don't. No, get that away from me.
Marquelle,
take
your nasal spray.
Don't you come
Marquelle,
near me with that. No,
what
no,
would
no,
Corinthia
no.
say
No.
if I said no to the nasal spray? That's what I'm saying to you right now. Take the nasal spray. Marquelle, get over here and take the nasal... Ow! Ow! Did you just flip me?
I told you to not do that.
Is that what you teach in Taekwondo?
Yes, Taekwondo, yes.
Man, maybe I need to, start going to Taekwondo classes more. Dex check, bam, nasal spray.
Oh!
Yeah, they don't call me the fastest hand in the Northeast for nothing. How does it feel?
It feels kind of cold and slimy, but I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, and you can breathe again, can't you?
And I could breathe before, but yeah, I guess I could breathe a little bit better. I think I need to take a nap.
Yeah, I think that is a smart move.
Yeah, help
I'll
me
open
with,
up the couch for you.
Yeah, help me with the pullout. Okay. Good night.
All right, buddy. Coming up, we have a very special guest. Stay tuned. Wow, today on the podcast, we have someone who is a true inspiration. They've done a little bit of everything. You've heard a lot about them today. Folks, please welcome Isabelle Ichoramus to the podcast. Great to have you here, Isabelle.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Thank you for spending some time with me in your busy schedule.
Oh, my busy
Very
schedule.
excited.
My busy schedule.
Your busy schedule. Listen, I just finished writing a book, so I have nothing to do now.
Oh, and what a book it was, Isabelle. I mean, this book lives up to the name. It's just astounding to think of all of the many things that you've done throughout your life, the experiences that you've had, the journeys you've been on, the friends, the foes. It's just so rich.
Thank you. Yes, I have seen quite a bit in my life, I must admit.
Now, just to sort of kind of start getting into the text here, I want to talk a bit about your time living in the commune in Flederhausen.
Yes.
I mean,
the Flederhaus for anybody who has intel.
The Flederhaus.
I know. You would not believe. It was truly astounding. I suppose I should start off with my experience as the backup manager for ZAM.
And for the
Sam?
folks, I know we probably have some younger, listeners here on the podcast. This is Mamma Mia ZAM. Okay, this is one of the most prolific music groups of all time, quite frankly.
Yes, they have done Mamma Mia. They have done Here I Go Again. Here I Go Again, I think, is my personal favorite.
Oh, it's a classic.
It's a classic, I know, ZAM. And they're wonderful. I wore an assortment of hats for them. I was their band painter for some time. I was also into necromancy.
Oh, really?
For the band. Yes, I don't know if you would have heard, but they are very avid necromancers, and my work with the Winter Wizard, of course.
I did not know that.
I'm
That's
sure
very
you read
interesting.
in my book. Yes.
Oh, I mean, let's actually start getting into that, right? Your time with the Winter Wizard.
Yes.
What was it like working with the White Wizard, Archmage of Ice, Gathranel? I mean, that's quite the boss to have,
Gathranel, yes. Boss is a word for it. I wouldn't ask my husband about it if I were you, of course, but Gathranel husbands. It's in the lore of the Winter Witch, which I also highly recommend reading, but only after my book, of course.
Oh, of course.
It was a roller coaster of emotions. We did a lot of community outreach with the mermaid community that lives right outside of the commune. There are many, many shorelines, of which there were many fisher people, which are, in fact, surprisingly enough, fish who also fish. So,
and
as you can imagine, the politics are hot.
I want to talk a little bit about those politics, right? Because you did write about that in your books, about the ethics of fishmen being fishermen. What was it like working on that? Working to kind of push awareness of that?
Right. Well, mermaids against fishing is a very divided community, I would say. And I know in America, cannibalism is a very touchy subject, but for the fishermen, it's not so taboo. However, the mermaids against fishing, they get a little competitive, you see. And that's how we are really viewing our political campaign, the Winter Wizard and I, from a perspective of acceptance rather than close-mindedness.
I just want to be clear with what I'm hearing here. Isabelle, are you throwing your hat into this race for our next political revolution year?
Well, technically it is the Winter Wizard, but every good president has had a campaign manager who has been tugging the strings behind the scenes, of course.
Oh, wow.
And yes, I would say the tides are strongly rolling towards that possibility.
What are some of your sort of core issues that you plan on tackling in this political revolution year? I mean, what drove you to want to run?
Well, I think that the platform really is indicative to the Winter Wizard's view that fish are people. Fish are people, you know? It's undeniable. And I think that America as a whole these days really doesn't view it as such. And I think that there really needs to be room for some heavy political change. And perhaps, I'm not going to say it, but brute force may be the thing that really rattles Americans' brains.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be one of the more messy political revolution years. So I'm happy to hear that, you know, someone I look up to so much is going to be throwing their hat in the ring. You might be a little bit of a dark horse candidate, but, you know, I have my faith in you 100%. You know, you have my support. I won't be voting because, you know, it's not really a voting.
Why not?
Well, it's not really looking like we're going to be getting votes this cycle.
Well,
but
that is true, Mark, but
hey, I'm behind you all the way.
Yes, we're going to keep the little R word, revolt, to ourselves.
Of course.
I don't know if the Winter Wizard would be very happy with me to go on a radio show and talk about all of the, let's say, plans that fish people have in store for Americans, but
Definitely.
It should be shocking.
Wow. Just awe-inspiring. I sort of want to talk to you now, kind of getting back into this book about your time on the commune, living with your family, you know, working with the Winter Wizard Gathrunel. What was it like having your family and your children, you know, non-magical entities sort of around this very magical space?
Oh, goodness. Oh, well, it was enlightening. Fish living with people, people living with fish. I mean, my daughter's best friend is a carp.
Wow.
Where else could you even imagine having that sort of cultural experience?
I think a friend of mine has a carp cousin. But, you know,
well, you should give them my number after the show.
Oh,
I'm
will
sure
do.
I would. Yes, you should. So Flutterhoose is, how can you say it? Liberating. Truly liberating. I wouldn't necessarily ask my husband what his opinion is on that, but the interview is with me, not with him, so I would say we're very pro-fish household at this point.
Definitely. And, you know, how are your kids sort of taking to this new experience? You know, you talk about in the book uprooting them from Ohio to move to Flutterhoose. So what was the experience like for them, you know, going from a very, you know, place where there's plains and corn and whatnot, you know, and not a lot of society to this place where they are now interacting with all sorts of different kinds of people? What was that shift like for them, you know, from a mother's perspective?
Oh, goodness, of course. Well, I always like to say, well, where there's no corn, there's seaweed. And I really feel like that is the voice of our household now. My children really took to eating seaweed and kelp and shark chum for breakfast. And my son would wake up in the middle of the night crying, and I'd be like, darling, what is the matter? And he would say, Mommy, I wish I had fins. And I really think that they will grow up to be very well-adjusted adults. And I think that's an experience that will be invaluable for them as humans.
Wow, that is just beautiful, and you know, I thank you so much for feeling so comfortable on this podcast to just share that with me. You know,
Of course.
to hear your stories firsthand, it's so much more enlightening than reading them on the page.
Oh, well, don't tell that to your viewers.
Hey.
You all should still read the book.
Oh, they'll
thank you, Mark.
read the book, you know. We will make sure they read the book.
I'm sure. It won't have anything to do with that charm that the Winter Wizard put in the foreword. But
There was a unimportant. Continue.
I just think you really fostered a very welcoming atmosphere for me, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sure if Marquelle was awake, she would, you know, say the same, echo the same sentiments. You know, she was really excited to have you on the podcast, but unfortunately, you know, that cold's really taking her out right now.
Oh dear, it's a cold?
Yes.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. You don't think that she heard any of this, do you?
Of the conversation?
Well, yes, if it's a cold.
I'm pretty sure she's sort of conked out, you know. We gave her some medicine and she sort of just honk shoe, snore, me, you know.
Okay, I must admit, I met a young woman who looked just like her in Montenegro, and that young woman also had a cold, and I'm telling you, Mark, it did not end very well.
You said they looked like Marquelle?
Identical, I believe. Are you sure this is not the first time that she's had a cold?
I mean, I'm sure she's had a cold at some other point in her life, but I don't know why Marquelle would be in Montenegro. She kind of just, you know, goes to work at the temp agency and then comes and hangs out with me and works some other jobs occasionally and then goes to sleep at home. It's just a very normal kind of daily life.
I must be confused then. Montenegro is the origin of colds. They come from a very strange, very abrasive community of young wolves. And I must have sworn that I saw her there, but my mind is not as clear as it used to since I'm under the control of the Winter Wizard now. But thank you for having me, Mark.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. You know, we'll share some closing thoughts, but first, just a brief little commercial break, and we will see all you viewers in a brief second. Here's that commercial.
All right, everyone. My next door neighbor, Ashley, that's A-S-H, silent H, double L, EEIGHQQXYZ123, Ashley, caught me delivering pizzas in a gorilla costume. I only do that on weekends. Anyway, she's here to read a poem for you. So, go ahead, Ashley.
Thank you, Marquelle. This is called A Whale's Tale. I love whales. They are man's best friend. Not like lions, tigers, bears, which are women's best friend. A man once said the whale must be liberated, free to roam the cold ocean's blue, free to flip its tail and swim to you. He has other friends that will swim there too. The man tears down the whale, May I ask the man? Why did you tear down that whale's tail? What did the whale ever do to you, sir? What did it ever do to you? It is easy to find sadness in this tale. It is easy to find anger in the whale. But we will sail the ocean blue in a big sail with our friends too. So Free Willy, and show the whales that we love them. Thank you.
Okay, great. You did your poem, and now can we forget about the gorilla suit and the pizza? Because I can't let Mark know about that, because he will never let me live
Are you
it down.
gonna give me the coupon?
Are
you gonna give me the coupon, Marquelle?
Fine, here's the coupon for an extra pizza and a free cookie. Go reach square.
What about the soda?
And the soda.
Thank you.
God, I hate little kids.
I'll be watching you.
Well, Isabelle, that is all the time we have on the show for you this week, but I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart so much for coming. You are truly such an inspiration.
No.
Being in your presence just fills me with sort of like the feeling of Christmas morning when you run downstairs and open a present and you look outside and you see snow falling. That's how I feel right now,
cryomancy
being
for you,
near
isn't it?
That's cryomancy.
That's
It's so
cryomancy.
Cool. It's just so cool.
Thank you, Mark. You are truly so kind. Your words are so kind. Thank you for allowing me to talk about my little book.
Stop.
I so appreciate it. The Winter Wizard also appreciates it. It's not every day that one of his conduits gets to come on a radio show. So thank you.
Anything for you, anything for Gathrunel the Winter
It's been
Wizard.
a
You know, like I said,
pleasure.
huge fan of both.
Oh, well, the sun just flickered. I think that means that I should get home. There's some freezers that need attending to, so I really must go.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Look, it was great having you, and I wish you the safest of journeys.
Thank you. Truly. Oh.
Hey, Marquelle.
Oh, no, did I sleep through the interview?
You did.
Oh,
that's
dang it.
okay. No, you'll
I'm
just have
so
to listen
sorry.
to
It's
it.
cool.
Oh,
It's nothing to worry about. Oh, well, there's my ride.
Whoa.
I should go. Thank you,
Oh.
though. Thank you for having me.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you for having me.
oh my God.
thank you for coming.
Where did that come from?
Have a good one. Thank
Whoa.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
For the folks at home who didn't see that, a blue mystery machine-esque van apparated into Markelle's apartment in a very non-Euclidean manner before Isabelle Ichoramus levitated off the ground and apparated through the van before the van once again disappeared in a flash of blue light. So,
Now she's gone.
yeah.
Oh, that was so cool.
She was so cool. She was
That was so cool.
honestly probably my favorite guest we've had so far. And we've had some cool guests.
Well, what happened? What did she talk about? What did you say? What happened? Tell me.
Well, I guess if you must know, I mean, Isabelle Ichoramus is just the coolest person I have ever met in my life. Like, top 5 idols all time. She came on and she was talking about, like, her sunflower plants and stuff and how she works for, like, the Winter Wizard, the Archmage of Ice. It was the craziest thing ever. Oh, by the way, they're running on a political ticket together for the next political revolution year. She's gonna be, like, vice revolutionary. He's gonna be, like, head revolutionary. I'm gonna probably, like, donate to the campaign because, you know, you gotta help out some way. It's not like they're gonna let us vote in it or whatever. And overall, I just think that, like, it was the best guest we've ever had on this podcast ever. She is just so fascinating. Talks about her time living on the commune, living with her family. I think there's a little bit of tension between the wizard and her husband, but hey, not my place to comment. And overall, just a great time.
That sounds incredible. I can't believe I slept through it.
Hey, but you were here for the part where she levitated and then disappeared
Yeah, that
in the van.
was really cool.
Hey, and how are you feeling, buddy? You look like you're doing better.
I mean, I feel a little better. Still a little dizzy, but I mean, I think, what would help is if we got out of this tiny, teeny, closet-sized apartment of mine and went to your great big spacious apartment so we could do some autobiography reading. What do you think?
No. You know how the fuzzy wumps reacts to the street
fuzzy
air.
Wumps. It's just a cold. It's just a cold.
Classic fuzzy wumps cough. Look, you're gonna stay here. We're gonna rest. I'm gonna order you some clam chowder, and we'll watch, Scandal or something.
I'm too tired to argue. You know what? You just put on Scandal, and I'm just...
And she's asleep. That's it for our time here on the Bookmarks. I've been Mark Bookerson. This has been Marquelle Bookerson. No relation. Also asleep. Follow us on socials, and we'll see you in the next one. Now, time for a date with Destiny, perhaps? Levitate! Leviosa! Rise, feet, rise! One of these is gonna have to work. Starring the vocal talents of Mark Bookerson as Cody Smith,
Marquelle Bookerson, played by Virginia Lee.
Isabelle Ichoramus, played by Elanna White. Ashley, played by Elanna White.
Our podcast is supported by people like you. You can support us and other shows made by WGC by subscribing to WGC Productions on Patreon. And you can follow us at WithGoodCo on Instagram and Twitter, and at WGC Productions on Tumblr and Facebook.